Guys, it's the Adirondack Stacker here. I have my son showing off some of his silver during this video.
Hey everybody.
We're going to be talking 10 tips, and this is mainly for beginner stackers, but maybe some of you seasoned guys will learn a little bit from this video too. So my first tip on stacking silver and gold is a website called findbullionprices.com. I'm not affiliated with them or any of the other websites that I'll be mentioning today, just FYI. But this is one of the best resources you can find online. If you're going to buy gold and silver online, this is the easiest way to find the cheapest possible prices. So if that's something that you're looking for, is the cheapest possible price or one of the cheapest possible prices, this website's super easy to use. Go to it, click on whatever thing you're interested in, or type in whatever you're interested in, and it's going to give you a bunch of different websites to get it from, starting with the cheapest price going to the more expensive of the cheapest prices. Okay, tip number 2 is kind of along the same lines, but this company is super dependable. I've used them a lot. I also kind of like the morals and values they're pushing, and they usually have really, really good deals. It's called SD Bullion, and you're going to check out the Doc Deals section of SD Bullion. They have deals that are changed pretty regularly on silver and gold, and they're usually pretty good deals. Some of them will be the cheapest that you'll find online, definitely on the cheaper end, and you kind of don't have to worry about whether you're going to get your shipment. They usually send it pretty fast, and you don't have to worry about whether the gold and silver is legit or not. It's 100% of the time going to be not fake. Third tip is to check out your local coin shop when you're buying gold and silver. It's important to build a relationship with your local coin shop if you can. If you have one, right? Not every place has one right around. Another thing that could stop you from building a relationship with your LCS is if they are kind of rude and standoffish or have really inflated prices. To me, if that's the case, don't waste your time with these guys. If they're going to be kind of predatory with their prices, or have different prices for different people depending on your level of experience. Don't deal with shiesty gold and silver dealers, even if they are local. Most of the time, you're going to find there's going to be good, like-minded people there at that shop trying to sell you gold and silver. So, tip number 4: buy on the dips and hold. Try not to be emotional. You should put emotions aside for this stuff. You don't want to be checking the price every day and too concerned. Check the price every day if you'd like to, but you don't want to be checking the price all concerned and worried that you're losing, or elated that you're gaining small amounts of money, because the price fluctuates all the time, and it's easy to get emotional and caught up in price drops, especially. But actually, that's the time, like you've probably heard a million times before, that's the time to buy. And I kind of like to try to think of it as something that I like to buy is on sale. It's no different from something else that I like to buy being on sale in my mind. When I see a big sale, I pick up that thing that I was going to buy anyway. Now it's just cheaper, so it's actually great for me. Like that's the mindset that I try to have. It's a long game. I'm not trying to buy and flip metals quick or trade or anything like that. That's a whole different thing, and I'm sure it's possible to do, but there's other things that are better to trade and flip for sure. My other tip number 5, is to buy at your own pace. Slow and steady wins the race with this stuff. Try to ignore the doom and gloom pressure to buy now before it's too late. Um, that's all. That's all garbage. Really, really is. Um, Gold and silver aren't going anywhere, and it's never too late to buy it. I mean, maybe not never. Someday there could be a huge bubble in the metals, and just like any commodity, that's probably not the best time to buy. If we see gold gain 800%, probably don't want to buy at the top, right? But right now, we've been going sideways, building pressure for years and years, and sure, the price is higher than it's been, but it hasn't been super dramatic. It's not like this crazy bubble where I wouldn't suggest buying gold. Silver, totally different ball game. It's way cheap. It's what it cost in the 80s. Good time to buy for sure, but it's never going to be like I have to buy this week because next week I'm screwed. I'm not going to be able to. The prices will take off and it'll be the end of the world and all the stuff that you hear on these videos. So buy at your own pace. Don't believe the hype and the gloom and doom, and slow and steady wins the race. Tip number 6 is buy stuff you like. And this seems really obvious, but sometimes you get kind of caught up in researching things and you end up just buying what you think you should buy instead of what you actually like. You might have this stuff for a long time, so buy things that you like. Another thing is when you're thinking about sizes, especially with silver, I recommend not to buy too big. Even though it's going to be slightly cheaper, it's going to be harder to get rid of, especially when you start getting into that kilo size. I think the best big size to get would be 10 ounce, especially if we see $500 silver in the future. It's just going to be tough to get rid of a kilo of silver or even 100 ounces of silver. So I like, 1 ounce is probably the smallest I think you should go. And anything in between that is pretty good. 5 ounce, 10 ounce is a sweet spot. I've talked about that before with premiums and stuff. Tip number 7, allocate more money to gold than silver. This is could be controversial, but in my opinion, I think you should allocate more money into gold than you should with silver. Gold is more of that slow and steady type investment, where silver is a little bit more speculative. It's a much smaller market. I think they're both going places, but if you look at the performance of gold over the past 50 years and you look at the performance of silver, gold is outperforming. Whether that's right or not, or because of manipulation, whatever you want to say, the results speak for themselves. And I like both metals a lot, obviously, but gold performs better. In the future, that could change. Who knows? We'll see. I think the next big bull run with gold, we'll see once that really sticks and legs up, we'll see silver start to move in a big way. That's historically what happens. So the old adage that I believe in is buy your weight in silver and your age in gold. Of course, that's not possible for everyone right away, especially. Most people can't just go out and buy 30, 35, 40, 45 ounces of gold at one time. It's kind of, some people can, but most people can't. It's slow and steady, right? Just like before, you're buying half ounces, quarter ounces of gold, and over the years, you work your way up to your age in gold, if you can, right? That's like perfect world to me. Number 8. Resist the urge to tell people about all the gold and silver you have. People get weird about gold and silver. I think it can tap into this primordial urge to get gold and silver. If you know, if they know you have it and somebody's down on their luck, or somebody um, you know, maybe has a drug problem or whatever it is, they'll come looking and trying to steal your stuff. That can happen. Or just you tell a friend or family member who you trust, and they think it's cool, they're excited about it, and they tell somebody else who tells somebody else, who ends up being the kind of guy or person that doesn't really have that many moral scruples and just will take what they want, take your gold and silver. So try, even though chances are, if you get into this, you're going to be thinking about it a lot, you're going to be into it. It's kind of a fun new passion. Maybe you get what's called gold fever when you especially with gold, when you start getting gold and you just think about getting more and more of it, and maybe you might be tempted to tell people about it, but if you can, probably a smarter idea to resist the urge. Tip number 9, bars are just as good as coins. Another controversial statement, but bars are cheaper, and at the end of the day, an ounce of gold really is an ounce of gold. And the same thing with silver. I think, that's kind of controversial. Like, some people are going to say, hey, you need to get government bullion and government minted stuff. But when you go to sell, a lot of times it's tough to get any kind of premium back on a lot of things. And they're going to just go by weight. They're going to be like, well, you have 10 ounces of silver. What's spot today? Oh, that's what you're getting. So this is another thing the old timers at coin shops always talk about. An ounce is an ounce. You just stack for weight if you want to be just purely logical about it. But again, like when we go back to rule number 6, buy stuff that you like. If it's only a few more dollars and you like this so much better, so much more, or you think that you'll hold on to a coin longer than you'll hold on to a bar or whatever it is, then buy that thing that you like. It's your money. And it's not like you're wasting money at Starbucks or buying some impulse item at the grocery store that you don't need. This is stuff that's going to be around forever. So if you spend a few extra dollars on it, who cares? That's my opinion. But if you're looking for the cheapest way to stack, bars are the cheapest, and an ounce really is an ounce. And then this comes to my last rule, tip number 10, or not rule, but tip number 10. If you're going to have a bunch of gold and silver, you got to have some way to protect it, and not just a safe, not just locks on your doors. You want to have a gun, right? If you don't already have a gun, it's a good idea to have a gun, especially if you broke the other rule or tip about telling everyone about your gold and silver. Hopefully you never have to use it, but it's a good idea to have a shotgun available. Things are, especially depending on where you live, but things are crazy anywhere and everywhere. Things can happen, and it's good to have a shotgun, just in case. Shotgun's the kind of gun, or any gun, but shotgun's the kind of gun that just having one will help you sleep a little bit more soundly at night, especially if you have a bunch of gold and silver that you decided to keep, right? Like, other people will pay money to have their gold and silver vaulted, and that's another great idea, especially if you have a ton of it. If you have huge amounts of weight, why not? Other people are a little too paranoid for that, might think, hey, if I don't have it, if I don't own it, if it's not on me somewhere where I know where I have access to it all the time, then it's not really mine. And I can understand that too. So there you have it, guys. 10 tips for new stackers. Some of it's a little controversial, but let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Thank you. Have a good one.